Okie dokie, you're welcome to our new studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for keeping faith and staying with us. This is no different show. This is Same and One, GH MixMixx. And this is yours truly, Kwesi E, Baako. I come in peace. I come not to please. Today, I have a very interesting discussion coming up for you. Today I'm speaking with one gentleman called Maazu Muftau. Maazu Muftau was the Director of Communications for NPP-New York some time ago. Currently, he holds other positions and he has very strong opinions when it comes to his party and the country of his birth, Ghana. We are going to be discussing issues concerning the NPP's bid to break the eight, as well as the NDC's recent announcement by John Mahama that he is indeed going to contest election 2024. We are going to be starting with the latter subject, and let me welcome right now via Zoom Maazu Muftau. Maazu, you're welcome, my brother.
Oh, thank you. Nice meeting you.
All right. Maazu, first of all, I've introduced you as a former director of NPP USA. What else would you add to your credentials before we start the discussion?
Okay, for now, I think the former credentials is enough, for lack of better words. So let's leave it by that.
Okay.
I have served the party in various capacity and ended up being a communication director of New York chapter, which I'm privileged to have served with. All the necessary requirements that it needs to be done as a communication director. They extended a hand for me to continue, but because of my tight schedules, communication needs somebody who has a lot of time at his disposal. Unfortunately, I declined. But be it as it may, we still remain committed, loyal, and supportive member of the party.
Okay, Maazu, I've known you for a while. Some time ago, I actually did, I think this was in 2019, I did post on Facebook commending you for looking beyond partisan lines and actually taking Ghana at heart, because there was an issue where I saw you speaking against your own party, something that's very rare in this current time. I want to talk to you about your party, several issues about your party, but before we do that, let's go to the opposition. John Dramani Mahama, former president, picked up forms to contest election 2024. Does this send shivers down the spine of the NPP, do you think?
First of all, I must say that it's something that is expected. So the NPP as a political party and political pundits, people who are much into politics, wouldn't surprise them, because clearly I wouldn't say NDC doesn't have any other person who is capable of running, but John Dramani Mahama has been one formidable candidate that they are very much comfortable with. I must also add that apart from His Excellency former President, late former President J.J. Rollins, I don't think there has been any member of NDC who is more popular than John Dramani Mahama. Today, when you touch him, you are touching a sensitive person in the party. So, going forward, it's not something that surprised me. It's expected, and my understanding is that Professor Ishua Alabi went and picked his form for him to contest in the flag bearership race. As we speak now, about 3 other candidates have gone into pick, including former Minister of Finance, Dr. Dufour, has also gone to pick another, former mayor of Central Region, Kojo Bonsu has also gone, and another gentleman who is not politically known, but he has also gone to pick his form. So for now, 3 people are going to contest against John Dramani Mahama. Coming from the MPP, it is not something that surprises us. It is much expected.
As much as it was expected, Maazu, you would also admit that the popularity that you referred to a short while ago should worry the NPP, don't you think so?
Well, it is not something that worries NPP. lot, but NPP is not going to downplay his popularity. No member of NPP, if he wants to be very honest with himself, will never downplay the popularity, political popularity of John Mahama. Looking at John Mahama is an individual who can pinpoint certain projects to his credit as a president. He has seen it all. He has run as a minister, he has run as an MP, he has run as a vice president, and as a president. So any member of NPP, unless of course the person wants to be very economical with the truth, will tell you that John Mahama is coming to the contest with a heavy political weight. No doubt about that.
Okay. All right. Now, a while ago, Maazu, I had a discussion with you, and I wish we could reproduce all of it. However, be as it may, let me just couch a little bit of it, and let's see if we can rehash that argument, that discussion here. The factor of regional balance, right? The NPP is heavily weighing towards Dr. Bawumia. The NDC, as you just said, and as we all know, is heavily inclined towards President Mahama. Is it a time for the North? It looks like it's time for the North to govern Ghana at this time.
Well, the North has had its own time. You know, you remember the Third Republic was predominantly won by Dr. Hidalima, an illustrious son of the North. John Mahama has been a president who is also an illustrious son of the North. So it isn't the first time that a Northerner will be a president. That must be on record. But then, if MPP is likely to, if Bawumia is likely to be picked by MPP, and John also wins his primaries, which I think, these two candidates will emerge. That is where, in the history of our country, we were having two Northerners noggin heads together. Okay.
Now, you said something interesting. Okay, now, but you said something really interesting that you said it looks as if Dr. Bawumia will get the nod. Is that where your head is at?
Oh yeah, clearly there's no disputation about that. All the polls that has gone through, point to the fact that the delegates of the NPP will settle on Dr. Bawumia. And from all indication, the few people that I've spoken to, they are all rooting for Dr. Bawumia. That is.
And let me say that we have built more airports than any other.
All right. Apologies for that interruption, but let me ask you again, Maazu. So, Dr. Bawumia, however, it looks as if a certain, let me call it the mainstream of the party at the moment, seem to be, with him, I should say. But also, we see a bit of a challenge from Alan Chamatin, most particularly from Kennedy Japan, and from some few others. Let's focus on Alan Chamatin for now. Alan Chamatin has served the party for a very long time. A lot of people thought he was waiting in line and was sort of a natural heir, if you will, after Akufo-Addo. That clash, if I can call it that, between the Bawumia factor and the Chamatin factor, how is it playing in the NPP?
First of all, it must be acknowledged that the succession plan of NPP is different from any other political party in the country. Number two, Alan Kojo Tramante is coming with abundance of political experience, no doubt about that. He has contested a couple of times with the current sitting president. At a point in time, that was somewhere in 2008, where they had a crucial presidential contest. The current president couldn't win clearly. It has to go to the second round, but Alan Kojo Tramante, said he is ever ready to give everything to the then president, which he did, of course. So anybody who doubts the political popularity of Alan Kojo, or Alan Cash in short, is doing this at his own peril. It's a heavy political way. But then, be it as it may be, candidates or the candidature of Dr. Maazu Muftau will outsmart him because of number of sector reasons, if we may go into that.
If you can just make them bullet points for me really quick. What are some of these points? What are some of the things? And please make them bullet points, because I'm about to go into the actual discussion. But give me about 3 points why you think Bawumia has an edge over Chamatin.
In politics, we have what we call incumbency advantage. Incumbency advantage is one, where he will have the wherewithal to campaign effectively. There's no doubt about that. Number two, the delegates of the NPP, when you look at their Bawumia and Akufo-Addo ticket, they've been in the system from 2008. So the longevity of Bawumia dominance in the political landscape of Ghana is also going to give him advantage. Number two and number three, Alan Kojo Traman, people have seen him as not somebody who is well committed to the cause of NPP. They only see him whenever NPP wins the election, but in the course of rigorous campaigning, they don't see him. These and many other reasons are what people are saying. Number four, they have seen him as somebody who has ever resigned from the party. A committed member of the party wouldn't do this. Number five, the delegates who know Kojo, the generation has changed. There's a paradigm shift in the course of the composition of delegates. So these and many factors is going to go against Alan Kojo.
Well stated. Well stated. But recently he was up north and he received, according to the media reports, a rousing welcome. I hear one of the chiefs actually said he's a son of the land and all of that. This is in Bawumia's territory.
If you want to say so, Bawumia coming from the northern part of the country, if you want to say that's Bawumia territory, well, I don't think Bawumia, that is his territory in terms of politics. In terms of politics, the territory of Bawumia cut across every part of the region. Alan Kojo Tramante isn't a new person. He's been in the party for long. So giving him a rousing welcome is a significant sign of political explosiveness. I don't expect Alan Cash to go to any part of the country and then he wouldn't receive a rousing welcome. Definitely he's going to receive a rousing welcome. But let it be said here that when the whistle for political activity is blown, we will be able to separate men from their boys.
Okay, all right. Now, let me also play the devil's advocate here and add a fifth factor why I think Alan Chamatin would struggle. But again, I shouldn't even say that, because this time we're actually going to vote per the delegates, right? It's not a general election, so that might not even count. And then also, Dr. Maazu Muftau would possibly even suffer more from this point that I'm about to raise, that both of them are part of this government, which I think a lot of Ghanaians see as a failed government. What's your reaction?
Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, we must also establish the fact that this is a contest within the cycles of the NPP. It's not a general election.
Correct.
This discussion or question will be dealt with when any one of them or MPP pick a candidate.
Yeah.
That's where we can interrogate that. But
That's
this
right.
is a matter within the NPP.
That's right.
NPP, as a political party, the delegates are going to decide here. So they themselves don't see a son of their own party as a failure. So, be it as it may, they will have somebody who will come from the party. No doubt about that. So not until the person is picked, then we will peruse and know whether the people of Ghana are going to use either the prospects or either the good work of the party or how the party feel in selecting the person to be a president. But this one is a contest within the NPP family.
I got that.
Definitely, they will have to settle on one individual.
Okay.
And then all these people who are Ghanaian or lacing their boots to go into the race. Only few one having said this government. Talk of Maazu Muftau, who is the head of economic minister from the inception of Akufo-Addo's government. Talk of Joe Gatti, he has been a minister under Akufo-Addo. Talk of what is it? What is
a free year, also what's his name? A free year
he has
Koto.
been a cabinet minister.
Yes. All right. Okay. That point is made. That point is made, Maazu.
An energy minister.
Okay.
The exception of Kennedy Ajapong, who is only a member of parliament. That one you cannot start any administrative work on his name.
Do you think Kennedy Japan can create an upset in the primaries?
Yeah. For me, I even see Kennedy Ajapong beating all the candidates that I've mentioned. The race is going to be a 3-horse race. Mahmoud Bawumia, Alan Cash, and Kennedy Ajapong. All the other people are only going to be participants.
Okay. Let's segue a little bit into the performance of your beloved NPP. You campaigned heavily for the NPP. At least I saw you in 2014, was it 20 thereabout, as communications director in New York,
Yes.
and all over the place in the United States and all of that. I did see the work that you did. Are you satisfied with helping to bring this government into power? Did they fulfill your expectations? Have they fulfilled the expectations, I should say?
I will answer this question in 2 segments. The first administration of the MPP did quite well when they took over the reins of government from 2017 up to 2020. They did, they were able to implement some of the policies, especially the flagship policies that was part of our manifesto. Were able to do that. But from 2000 to date, the performance of government has been somewhere, 3 steps forward, then 4 steps backwards. Partially due to so many factors. But personally, I am of the view that we could have done better than we are doing now, due to some of the reasons that I hold dear to my heart.
What are some of the areas that you think your government could have done better?
First of all, our government is overbloated. We're running an overbloated government. That is absolutely unnecessary. This is not the promise that Akufo-Addo, I know of, should have done. We should have downsized in. Up to now, I still believe that we should downgrade our government. The ministers are too much. We are spending so much of our resources in that, putting up administrative, laws that are unnecessary. Creating of 6 extra regional capitals was uncalled for. We don't need that. It blows the expenditure of government. And this current economic argument that we have found ourselves is partially attributable to that. You can run more than 90 ministers. Come on. One ministry is having more than 2 deputies. That is totally unnecessary. Number 2, look at the fact, look at this. Members of our own party, members of parliament are calling for president to change the finance minister. I personally feel that the finance minister has outlived his usefulness. There's the need for us to bring in new fresh, new energy, and a dynamic person who will have the trust. Because governance has to do with the trust of the people. If the people trust in whatever you do, they sympathize for you. You remember when we took charge of governance, there is what we call, goodwill. We had the goodwill of the people. So the Minister for Finance has lost the goodwill of the people. So it is up to the president to discharge him, relieve him. The fact that you change it doesn't mean that you don't like it. But it looks as if the current president likes the finance minister more than the party, and that is actually not helping us.
Do you hear dissenting voices? First of all, no. Let me let you finish. I think I cut you short because I previously asked you where some of the areas I mentioned just 2. Are there any more areas you think your government could have done better?
Yes, we could have done better. We could have done better in managing some of the resources that the country has received from the international organization. Ever in the history of African country, I think Ghana is first to have received the quantum sum of money that we have received from, we should have put it in a better use. That is my personal opinion. Those monies were unaccounted for. They were spent in such a way that I don't think the expenditure went on according to the wish of the people of Ghana, even members of our own party. Yes.
How about human rights, Maazu? Press freedom, human rights and press freedom. How about that?
I see that, I mean, we're doing for quite a while, because when you look at the West Africa Network for Human Rights Activities, Ghana has not downgraded. I mean, we are a little bit above what we used to be.
The Press Freedom Index has dropped significantly since the NPP came to power. Significantly.
It has dropped significantly.
Yes.
Then probably we might be reading a different data.
And apart from all those indices, we can also judge for ourselves, can't we, Maazu? Because we also see and hear about things like Ayawaso West Wogon and stuff like that. We hear about judges like vigilante boys who ransacked a court and chased the judge out. We hear about armed robbers who were arrested with national security IDs on them and stuff like that. How do you think your government is doing in this area?
I'm not too privy to all this information you are giving me. You are a media man. Probably you might have gotten it more.
Maazu, but you know about Ayawaso West Wogon. Brian Achampo was asked about that in his vetting recently.
Yes, it's a history that ought not to have been, okay in the history of our country. But hey, think about it. I personally condemn it in no uncertain terms. I think we ever held an interview on this same issue. Ayawaso violence shouldn't have even occurred at all. I mean, it is about time for us to observe violent-free election not only in Ghana, but everywhere in Africa. Just recently, I'm listening to Al Jazeera. One senator in Nigeria was shot dead last night simply because he's campaigning, and people who have different opinion about the policy or the programs or his party, he was shot dead. It is something that has taken center stage in the politics of Africa, and that is absolutely condemnable.
Okay, let's stay in Ghana, Maazu. What about corruption? The big elephant in the room. Corruption. The scandals we keep hearing about. And some of these things, I don't want to put them out specifically because that's not the point of being here. But some of these things have been checked and rechecked. Some of these things have been caught on video. Some of members of your party, for instance, saying they received monies from the COVID fund. Stuff like that. But let's not go into specifics. What do you think? How do you think your government will score in terms of corruption?
Before Akufo-Addo became a president, nobody ever thought there will even be a suspicious element within the government of Akufo-Addo who will dip his hand in the state office. So I think the government should act more than it's doing. That feet dragging towards proving issues of corruption is appalling. And that record is not going to be very well when Akufo-Addo leaves office. We have set up the office of a special prosecutor. I mean, it is not just a nomenclature or political, giventry. It should act very well. We should give him the free will. We should give him the free hand to probe into matters of corruption. I personally have witnessed a corruptible act that I feel the government should have looked into that. But then, I don't know what is going on. I don't know whether people are telling Akufo-Addo not to, whip the, crack the whip or whip the crowd or something like that. And at least he should be up and doing when it comes to matters or allegation of corruption. This NPP, as a political party, we came to power on the shoulders of corruption. We put every single aspect of corruptible act that were not even, we couldn't even get evidential, documents many or plethora of allegations of corruptible acts that were leveled against that end.
Okay, Maazu, our session will be ending in 10 minutes, so let's try and squeeze a few more questions in before we go. And very brief answers, please, if you will. Against the backdrop of everything that we've discussed, Maazu, your party is still forcing to break the 8. I asked you the other time, and I'm going to repeat this for the purpose of everybody else. Don't you think the NPP, it's time for the NPP to sit back, reflect, see what went wrong, encourage young, prospecting politicians like yourself to rebuild the party and come back at a later date? But for now, don't you think it's time to let the reins go for somebody else to take over so the party can actually rebuild from within and come out a better party? Don't you think so?
Well, I don't begrudge your point of view, but a student of politics would disagree with you in this issue. No political party in the world has ever, agreed that. I mean, come on, let's relinquish power to our opponent, and then we go back to the drawing board, revitalize the party, come again, and then sell at our idea. It is not done in politics. In the history of politics, that's never happened. You go for election when the people decide that they are renewing your mandate, fair and good. If the people feel that what you have done is a disaster, they change you, they alternate you, and bring in new person. But voluntarily, for the NPP not to put up proper campaign structure in place, simply because we want to, we have been bedeviled with allegations, whether evidential allegation or unevidential allegation, to relinquish power to the opponent. I think that would be the last thing a good political party like the NPP can do. But the only thing is that the good people of Ghana will have to decide as whether what the party has done has improved the lot of the people, or what the party has done has gone into the detriment of ordinary Ghanaians.
Thank you very much, Maazu Muftau. I'll let you use the last few minutes left to just give a message to your party and to Ghanaians by extension, specifically towards 2024.
Well, I mean, it's a crucial election for both NDC and MP, because NDC is presenting somebody who has ever served the country as a president, and MPP is trying to break the constitutional 8 years mandate, which has never happened in the history of Ghana, and from the NDC, which has also never happened in the history of Ghana, a former president rebranding himself to come back. So the election is going to be highly
very historical.
For me, the MPP shouldn't be complicit, because we are facing somebody who has experience, a colossal, a savvy politician, an eloquent politician, somebody who can pinpoint certain projects to his credit. So if MPP take complicit, we'll be laughing at the wrong side of our mouth. The only thing we need to do, first of all, to come out from the primaries with united force. The MPP has a lot of things that can disintegrate the party. First, we haven't even come up with the date to go for primaries, presidential primaries. It's something that has the tendency of polarizing the country. Aside from the economic allegation of economic mismanagement, that is, we are still struggling to
Maazu,
so that my
I have 1 more minute. Please squeeze this in for me.
My party members should work out and then better position themselves to elect candidates and then to have good campaign policies and programs to roll out to the people of Ghana.
Maazu,
I don't know.
Maazu, please squeeze this in for me. There were allegations that the president was not happy about the primaries taking place anytime soon. Why do you think that is so?
I don't know whether do we have sufficient time?
I don't. That's why I said give it just 1 minute for me, please. Round it up if you will.
Okay. I mean, the president has, indeed, it's not an allegation. It's something that the president doesn't like. He doesn't want it to come so early. Because think about it. If the election is run immediately, whether or Alan, any one of them who wins, the focus of attention will run from the presidency to the presidential candidate of the political party. And as we speak, any candidate who wins becomes the head of the party. So the head of the party will be having confusion with the head of government, and that is going to be segregated.
I see. That explains it. Maazu, your prediction: who will come out tops at the primaries? Before we go,
which of the primaries?
Your primaries, NPP primaries.
Oh, NPP primaries. I see that. I mean, clearly, Dr. Maazu Muftau will win because I've heard a lot of the MPs in Parliament are rooting for him. I mean, and the people believe that it is better for him to continue on the background of the fact that the party has been brutally accused of picking, sideline, and dumping Northwest. So this is the time the people of the party will see, or Ghanaians will see whether...
Now they see the wisdom in fielding a candidate from the north. I see. Maazu Muftau, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I know I pulled you out at a very crucial time. It's late where you are, but you still made the time. I really appreciate your time, Maazu. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And please be on standby. We'll be coming to you again and again and again as we head towards election 2024. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. This has been Maazu Muftau, former communications director of NPP New York. Stay tuned. We bring you more. This has been MixMixx. My name, Kwesi E, Baako. I come in peace. I come not to please. And once more, welcome to our new studio. We will see you a lot more as we head for election 2024 Ghana votes. We'll see you some more. Have a blessed evening. Goodbye.